Good day, guys. Welcome back to another episode of A Fool's Journey. It's been a long day. It's been a long day. Um, I'm just now getting settled in. It was like 95 degrees here today, and I went and took a walk outside, and then I grounded for a little bit. So it was very relaxing. But um, today we are going to, or I just wanted to talk about, a topic that is extremely important when thinking about like self. So boundaries, you know, um, like knowing when to set boundaries, knowing how to set your boundaries, understanding the importance of having boundaries with people, with your employer, with your children, with whoever, um, and just knowing and understanding how having boundaries in place can definitely keep a lot of things in your life peaceful and balanced and drama free. So excuse me. So um, in the beginning of my journey, there wasn't a lot of boundaries that like I set forth with other people. Um, again, I was a tad bit of a people pleaser. So there was, not a lot of me telling people no. If someone needed me to do something, I did it, whether I wanted to or not. Sometimes whether it made me uncomfortable or not. There was a lot of situations I put myself in that I probably shouldn't have been in or shouldn't have even taken part in. But because I didn't understand the importance of having boundaries, I didn't see it at that, I didn't see it at that time. Um, Sometimes I get a little frustrated, um, and I want to say with myself, forgive me. I want to say I get a little frustrated, like with myself, because I waited so long to really put certain boundaries in place in my life. And so I think by doing that, it, gave certain people in my life the impression that, this is who I am and this is how I'm going to always be with them. And, and I think with having the understanding that people grow, people change, people evolve, you can't ever think that someone's going to always be the same type of way with you because that may not always be the case. That may be how you want it to be, but it may not actually be what turns out, what winds up happening at the end of the day. Um, so yeah, sometimes, I can get frustrated with myself, for not, setting boundaries sooner with a lot of people, because it would have prevented a lot of situations that I wish I had never even took part in. Um, but I also am now able to see the difference in my life and how I was able to turn things around by really just looking at what I did, like how I handled, how I showed up, how I um, allow, what I allow. And, and really taking a look at those things, um, and addressing them in the different situations that I may have encountered in my life. Um, it helped me to really gain a better sense of self worth, um, because first and foremost, the one thing that I am truly like adamant about is being accountable for like my actions, the shit that I do, the things that I say, the behaviors that I exhibit. And I know, right? And I know that because I'm not perfect, not everything's going to always be perfect, or not everything's going to always be right. There's going to be times where I make mistakes, or I overreact, or I overthink, or, I worry about this, or whatever have you. There's going to be all those moments that, that happen in any given situation. But just knowing what boundaries to set can definitely help shape how those situations may turn out, um, or may look at the end of it. Um, so like I have recently, you know, set a lot of boundaries, but I didn't set boundaries with other people. That wasn't something that I felt the need to do. I didn't feel the need to put a boundary on someone else outside of myself, because people are going to be who they are. They're going to do, what they want to do, and there's not really anything you can do about someone else's behavior or how they're going to show up, how they're going to react. But when setting boundaries, I realized that setting those boundaries for myself, first and foremost, is what was most important. And also sticking to those boundaries um, really helped me to, again, like gain a better sense of understanding of myself, a better sense of my self-worth, like more of knowing what I deserve. And knowing that at no point am I going to settle for less than I deserve. You know, a couple of years ago, I couldn't say that that would have been the same case. You know, I can't say that I wasn't, I can say that I was in a situation where I was settling for way less than what I deserved, right? So, with that being said, you know, one of the boundaries I set for myself was to make sure that any relationship that I, have has boundaries. Whether it's with my mom, whether it's with my son, whether it's with my siblings, whether it's with a significant other, there has to be certain boundaries that, I set for myself when dealing with these people, that allows me to still remain like balanced in how I move about my day, how I, decide to show up in the world, at any given time. So, um, it was important to me to really understand how it was important to me to really understand like how like the word I'm looking for. Um, I have a bad habit of like just choosing words, and those words may not always make sense or even go with what I'm saying. But if it sounds good, I'm gonna use it. So I'm trying to do less of that in these moments of making my videos, and but like the importance, again, the importance of setting those boundaries for me um, was imperative to how I started to interact with the people around me. And part of the boundary that I set was actually just moving away from everybody. You know, I miss them, I love them, but that was a boundary that I set for myself. Like, you know, there's a certain amount of distance that I want to have. Um, so that I can stay focused um, on like my goals and what I'm trying to do, where I'm trying to see my life, you know, progress at, and, you know, still be close enough to go, you know, drive up the road and visit my family and, you know, have a moment, you know, spend some time. Um, I set the boundary to put just enough distance to where it wasn't too much either way, you know? I don't want to isolate myself so much from everything, but I know that there's a level of isolation that I need to be able to really, you know, focus in on the information that I want to, um, you know, give to you guys, that I want to provide in my channel. And I know that, you know, it's not something that anyone else is really good. Like, a lot of people don't understand it, but again, it's not, in my mind, it's not for anyone else to understand. Like, as long as I understand it, as long as I know like what's going on in my world, in my life, in my mind, in my heart, in my soul, as long as I understand my process and I am confident in my process and I am steadfast in, you know, making sure that I work on it. I work on it and myself, my process and myself, um, enough to make my life exactly what I want it to be. You know, as long as I keep that understanding for myself, you know, then I know it will be very easy to, you know, hold my boundaries in place and, you know, keep my focus and achieve exactly what it is that I have envisioned for my life. Um, I have a vision board. I look at it every morning when I wake up, you know, after I pray. And certain things on it, this channel was actually the, you know, the logo at the top of my vision board. So, you know, different things that I added to my vision board has already started to come into fruition and, you know, present itself in my life. And I know that's due to the amount of time that I've taken to really understand myself and, you know, and be willing and open to take this journey that I'm on and not really question where it's leading me and where it's taking me, but just knowing that wherever it is, you know, for me, it's going to be great. You know, what anyone else gets out of it, I can only pray it would be great. But what it does for me is definitely going to be great because there is a level of healing of, you know, the past that I've already been able to overcome and grow through just in the short amount of time that I have been, you know, putting these videos out and, you know, being vulnerable with you guys. It's not any way that I ever thought that I would be. It's not anything I ever thought I would be doing, but here I am. So again, I don't question the journey. Um, I don't question the boundaries that I'm that I feel I need to set. I don't question the way that I am led to move, with the people in my life and around. Um, I don't I don't even really too much try to question the choices I make, because any choice I make, it's mine to make, and I'm not going to regret it. I can only, live, go through whatever situation of whatever choice I make, and come out on the other side. And like, if the situation failed, again, I learned a lesson, pick myself back up, keep it pushing. And if it succeeded, then I know that just allows me to be that much more confident in the choices that I make. And even failing allows me to be that much more confident in the choices that I make, because then I get an understanding of things that I don't want in my life. And those are things that I'm able to release and let go. And and the things that help me to succeed, um, are the things that I'm going to keep and move into the next situation with. So, that was, I just wanted to touch on, again, the importance of having boundaries, setting boundaries, the emotional stability that having boundaries will, allow you to have, um, the balance that you can create in your life when you set boundaries for yourself, for your time, for your schedule, for how many people in a day you're going to disperse your energy to, like all of those. Like, I don't you don't always think about things in such small manners when it comes to setting boundaries. Sometimes we only think about boundaries when it comes to being in a relationship with somebody else, the opposite sex or whatever. But there's so many different boundaries that you can set to maintain that balance and maintain that emotional peace within your life. And, that's really what I wanted to touch on, and what I wanted to um, bring awareness to in this video, So Um, I'm going to end it here because I have a couple of more things to do before my night ends. And I want to thank you guys for joining me for another episode of A Fool's Journey. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Um, Again, I appreciate everyone who takes the time out to watch, to join the journey. And we have much more to come. I will be posting more regularly. So I'm just working on a schedule, as well as, different um, situations and topics that are relevant to the journey that I'm on, that are relevant to the journey that I've been through. And so once I really kind of get that worked all the way out, get those kinks worked out, I will post a little bit more regularly. But, right now it's more or less, I like when I get the nudge, when I get the feeling like, to hop on here and speak about a certain thing, it's it's normally because there's something going on in my life that is requiring for me to take a look at, what's happening, and reevaluate what's happening, and keep my eyes opened to what's happening in the moment. So yeah. So, in this moment, there are a lot of boundaries that I have set for myself that I have to remember to um, enforce, you know, in the moments that I know will come in the near future for me. So, again, um, I'm going to leave it here. And again, I thank you guys for taking this fool's journey with me. And I love you all. Good night.